In 2023, leadership at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center, they made a discovery. Residents in the emergency room were using ChatGPT to help draft patient discharge summaries. The AI was remarkably good at sounding like a doctor. The problem? It was hallucinating lab results. It was making up medication dosages that weren't in the patient record. Leadership didn't approve this. They didn't even know it was happening until it was already embedded in the workflow. I've spent over a decade working at the intersection of healthcare technology and governance. I sit on several national standards organizations, and I've watched this pattern repeat across payers. It repeats across providers. It just repeats across the whole health system. AI didn't arrive with a memo. It arrived inside a software update. And here's what the data shows. According to a 2025 PALBOX survey of healthcare IT and compliance leaders, 95% of organizations report staff are already using AI tools. 25% have not formally approved any AI use. 62% of leaders have directly observed employees using unsanctioned AI tools like ChatGPT. And here's the one thing that should concern every executive. 16% of compliance leaders were not even consulted before AI features were activated in their organization's email systems. AI didn't ask permission, it just showed up. In technical terms, this happens because AI is now bundled into the software you already use. According to ASTP, 80% of hospitals that are using AI models that came directly from their EHR vendor, not through a separate governance decision, but through a feature release. In real life, this means a software update arrives. A new AI-assisted feature appears in your workflow. No one asked, no one approved, and now it's influencing your decisions. So here's the tension most organizations feel, but they don't say out loud. 78% of organizations are using AI, but only 25% have fully implemented AI governance programs. That's a 53-point gap between deployment and oversight. And we've treated AI governance like a technology problem, so we hand it off to our IT teams, our compliance teams, or some committee. But accountability doesn't follow an org chart. When something goes wrong, the question isn't, what did the model do? The question is, who approved this decision? And that question doesn't get asked in IT meetings. It gets asked in boardrooms. This is the shift that most leaders miss. AI governance isn't about controlling technology. It's about leaders being able to defend the decisions that are made. Committees don't absorb accountability. Documentation doesn't absorb accountability. Leadership does. And when governance is treated like paperwork, leaders feel exposed, even when everything looks compliant. Let me give you another example. And this is outside of clinical care, but the lesson will land the same. In 2023, the mental health platform Coco experimented with using AI to help volunteers respond to users who were seeking support. About 4,000 people received messages drafted by GPT-3. The AI-generated responses were technically better, more polished, more complete. But once users realized that the empathy was simulated by an AI that they hadn't consented to, the therapeutic benefit vanished. Leadership hadn't fully vetted the ethical implications before the technology was already in the hands of users. That's not a technology failure, it's a governance failure. So here's the practical shift. If you're evaluating AI vendors or you're trying to figure out what's already embedded in your systems, listen for the language. A little bit of insider baseball for you. When a vendor says these things, here's what it actually means. If they say our model is self-learning, that should be a red flag for you because most healthcare AI cannot be self-learning in production. FDA requires locked algorithms for consistent outcomes. If they say it's an EHR agnostic integration, That just means that they haven't built the FIRE or the HL7 hooks into your EMR yet. It's a manual upload. And here's a case that shows what happens when vendor language doesn't match reality. And this has been coming up recently. I've seen it on LinkedIn. For years, vendors promised that AI could predict sepsis hours before it happened. But when researchers at the University of Michigan audited a widely used proprietary sepsis model, they found that it performed significantly worse than the marketing suggested. The vendor used language like high sensitivity to clinical decline. But the actual build was frequently triggered by the fact that a doctor had already ordered a test, meaning that the AI wasn't predicting anything. It was just noticing what the clinician was already doing. The roadmap promised prediction, the product delivered documentation. 2 questions every leader should be able to answer. Number 1, who owns our AI influenced decisions and why? Number 2 is what's actually deployed versus what's on the roadmap. If those answers are unclear or they're fuzzy to you, or maybe they're shared across too many roles, governance doesn't exist yet. The real question isn't whether AI is moving fast, it's whether leadership clarity is keeping pace. Here's what I recommend. Before your next board meeting, ask yourself, could I explain our AI influenced decisions today with confidence? If the answer is no, that's not a technology gap. It's a leadership gap, and it's fixable. If you want to keep building that kind of decision confidence, follow my YouTube page.